Welcome to Top Stories of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ngullie. November rain has announced the start of the winter season and more chill for all of us. People in Kohima have started wearing those gigantic goose feather jackets, while people in Dimapur have started wearing t-shirts and half pants now at least. From now on, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Naga traditional cultural music by Bonnie M. Someone in the office started playing Christmas songs the other day, ladies and gentlemen. Suddenly everyone in the office was in tears, basically. Some started crying, reminiscing about their childhood days. Some started crying, remembering their old friends and family. Those memories, some cried, remembering that they're still single. Anyway, everyone will now get into their festive mode. Hornbill Festival, Christmas, New Year celebrations, birthdays, and more of them in the future to come. The festive season is on forever. As usual, it will be dry and slow days for the newspaper and TV establishments though. News rush will be picking up only after New Year's celebrations or so, and it has always been like that. Here are the top stories of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know that there are Naga artifacts and human remains from Nagaland in the United Kingdom? Courtesy of Naga intellectuals and well-wishers led by, among others, anthropologist Dr. Dolly Kikon, efforts are on currently to bring back the Naga remains, among others. An engagement with the public aimed at mobilizing the people to repatriate Naga ancestral human remains was conducted at Nagaland University in Lumami on Saturday. The group leading the movement is called Recover, Restore and Decolonize, and which is under the aegis of the Forum for Naga Reconciliation. So the event was on November 12th. The group is actively engaged in public discourses with scholars and civil society groups in an effort to bring back the artifacts and human remains, ladies and gentlemen. These items are said to be housed at the Pitt River Museum at Oxford University in the United Kingdom. Dr. Dolly Kikon, an associate professor of anthropology and developmental studies at the University of Melbourne, is leading this movement. She explains that the Pitt River Museum houses the world's largest Naga artifact collection, which include about 213 human remains. Dr. Ellen Jamir, associate professor for Christian counseling and psychotherapy, Oriental Theological Seminary, said that the repatriation journey began when Dr. Kikon came across an article in The Guardian. Tensions and panic broke out along the Indo-Myanmar border, where bombs were reportedly dropped by the Myanmar army near Mizoram on November 13. Sources indicate firefights between the Myanmar army and the Chinland Defense Force just 4 kilometers away from Mizoram, very nearby. There were about 17 injuries from among the refugees and Chinland Defense Force fighters requiring medical attention. As a precautionary measure, authorities urged residents in the Zokwatar area close to the Myanmar border to stay indoors. Following the bombing, an influx of refugees entered Mizoram. More on this later in the segment, ladies and gentlemen. This is fallout of the ethnic violence that broke out in May between the Kuki and the Meitei communities in Manipur, ladies and gentlemen. The Ministry of Home Affairs on November 13 extended the ban on 10 Meitei extremist organizations under the UAPA for another 5 years. The ministry said that the organizations have as their professed aim establishment of an independent nation by ceding from Manipur from India through armed struggle and to incite indigenous people of Manipur for such secession. The groups which were declared banned for 5 more years are the People's Liberation Army, also known as the PLA, and its political wing, the Revolutionary People's Front, the United Liberation Front, and its armed wing, the People's Army, the People's Revolutionary Party of Ngullie and its armed wing, the Red Army, the Ngullie Communist Party and its armed wing, the Ngullie Yol Kanbalop, the Coordinating Committee or CORCOM, and the Alliance for Socialist Unity Ngullie. Rejoice! Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Commissioner of Kohima Kumar Rapni Khan issued an order lifting the ban imposed on the slaughter of pigs, import or export of live pigs, piglets, and transportation of pigs and pork in the infected zones and surveillance zones at Seshu Zubza with immediate effect. That's in Kohima. The order was reportedly issued in view of the lapse of about 2 months of surveillance, having followed the protocol of the National Action Plan for Control, Containment and Eradication of African Swine Fever, stated by the central government. There was no further report of new outbreak, which is understood to be the main reason the ban was lifted. Ladies and gentlemen, approximately 2,000 people from Myanmar have entered Mizoram following a fresh airstrike by the Myanmar army in the bordering areas along the Indo-Myanmar border, officials said on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, reports say the number of Myanmar nationals who were injured in the Myanmar army strike also crossed the international border. They entered Mizoram's Champhai district and were admitted to hospital for treatment. At the time this segment was being telecast, ladies and gentlemen, reports said approximately 2,000 to 5,000 Myanmar nationals had entered Mizoram. The terrorist group Hamas has lost control of the Gaza Strip as the Israel Defense Forces move in to fully capture Gaza City, the country's defense minister Yoav Gallant announced. According to the Times of Israel, Gallant said that the Israeli forces are advancing towards every location and the terrorists are fleeing south. The IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said at an English language press conference earlier that underneath the hospital in the basement, the forces found a Hamas command and control center, suicide bomb vests, grenades, AK-47 assault rifles, explosive devices, RPGs and other weapons, computers, money. That's what the official said. Gallant also said the Israeli forces found evidence that Hamas terrorists came back from the massacre on October 7th to the hospital, among others, after killing Israelis. This was one of the strangest news that we got the previous week, ladies and gentlemen, following the clashes between the Myanmar military and the Chin Defense Force and its allies and the ensuing exodus of a large number of Myanmar nationals into Mizoram's Champhai district. Mizoram police officials said that on Sunday evening, Myanmar army post personnel along the border was attacked. On Monday evening, 2 Myanmar posts were captured by the People's Defense Force, as a result of which the Myanmar army personnel began to take shelter in Mizoram. The officials said 39 of the Myanmar army personnel surrendered to Mizoram police. At the time this report was being set, 42 personnel had surrendered. The Myanmar soldiers were then handed over to the Myanmar military government on Tuesday. A student of political science at Don Bosco College in Kohima reportedly committed suicide on November 14, according to some posts circulating on social media platforms. During the time following the incident, it was alleged that the reason behind the student taking such a drastic step was because of the fine that was reportedly imposed by the college. Initially, it was alleged that the college authority had imposed a fine of about 2,000 per subject, amounting to about a total of 6,000 rupees. When HornbillTV reached out to the college's authority and the family members of the deceased, it was confirmed that allegations were actually not the reason for the suicide. Both the sides confirmed that. So the college also published a clarification in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, efforts continue to rescue 41 workers who have been trapped for nearly a week since an under-construction tunnel collapsed in Uttarakhand's Uttarakshi district. Ladies and gentlemen, the efforts continue amid setback from various issues, including procuring machinery. Work came to a halt on Friday when rescue workers attempting to restart the drilling machine reportedly heard a large-scale cracking sound. So that's their words, as reported by the state-run National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation. May God help them. Scientists based in China have created a monkey chimera or mixed creature that had green eyes and glowing fingers. The hybrid monkey has 2 sets of DNA and it was said to be an experimental work The monkey reportedly lived for about 10 days before being euthanized. The animal was made by combining stem cells from the crab-eating monkey with a genetically distinct embryo from the same monkey species. It was reported that the monkey's cells were infused with a green fluorescent protein so that the researchers would be able to determine which tissues had grown out of the stem cells. Thank you for watching Hornbill TV, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be bringing you more and more updates later on. I'm Ngullie. See you next time.